Hi, today I'll be making candy. So since I moved and all my crafting stuff got boxed up and stored, and I've been trying to gradually get it back out, I have not had access to my candy making supplies because I couldn't figure out where to put them. But I figured it out, and that means I get to make more. I've been wearing the same, 10 singles for the past few months. I went through a phase where I was only making, big cuffs, massive rotating cuffs, and I just wasn't making singles, so I will be making mostly singles today. Maybe a necklace or something, who knows. We'll see what kind of inspiration strikes me. I also asked y'all on Instagram and YouTube for some things for me to talk about. I kind of worded it like I was gonna make a Q&A, which is my bad, because I didn't really want to answer super personal questions, because I already have 2 videos of me doing that, and I feel like me continuing to just talk about myself is a little bit egotistical, so I just wanted things to talk about. I can only answer what is my favorite band and how many times have I dyed my hair so many times. Answer to those, by the way, is, okay, I'll give my top 3 bands. Of Montreal, Dance Gavin Dance, and Say Anything, which are quite different genres from each other. I'm not even gonna lie, I've been really listening to a lot of Fall Out Boy recently. I will go probably a year without even thinking about Fall Out Boy, and then the end of the year will come around and I'm like, you know what? You know who I haven't listened to in a long time? Fall Out Boy. And I'll listen to one album and then it's it's over. They're all I can listen to for the next few months. So right now that's the cycle that I'm in. I don't think you could even ask me to choose a favorite Fall Out Boy album. I mean, I think my favorite album has to be Folie à Deux, which I feel like is a controversial take. It's a great album, but I don't know. I know nowadays people like it, right? We can appreciate it now, but I feel like it was one that was critically criticized. I feel like when it came out, people weren't really happy with it. I think that's the tea with Folie à Deux, but I can't remember. But I've also been listening to a lot of Take This to Your Grave. And also I've dyed my hair a lot. I've been dyeing it since 2011. It's a lot. I can put up my hair timeline if anyone wants to see it again. Anyway, it's time to bust out the beads. I literally only have, magic string? The clear stuff. Apparently, after a few years, it starts to kind of disintegrate. I didn't know that, but it's just what I heard. I don't know. My mutual Mood Dot Candy has said they only like to use the stretchy cord string. This is my only supply right now. It's from Dollar Tree. It's the only one that I have. And I ordered some more off of Amazon, and I don't know when that's gonna get here. But I don't have it right now, so we'll see how far this takes me. It is 5 yards each. I don't know. If I run out, I will be fine using the clear string. I don't care that much. If a single breaks, it's not gonna be the end of the world. I can just remake it in about 5 minutes. I have so much decision fatigue when I make candy because I have I'm a bead hoarder. That's just what I do. So I have too many things to choose from. So I get a little bit overwhelmed, but it's fine. It's fine. I will just choose pretty colors and make pretty patterns. Oh man, I just got an idea. So I was thinking about Fall Out Boy, of course, and then I saw my little bat beads and I was like, man, that's Pete Wentz's base. What kind of single could I make for Pete Wentz? And then I remembered the Thanks Pete meme.
And thanks for this mic stand for being really tall. Thanks, Pete.
That's a throwback. I haven't thought of the words Thanks Pete probably since 2014. And so now I guess that's my first single that I have to make. I thought about it, now I have to do it. My letter situation is so obnoxious. I don't have a better option for this. I would like to get one of those pull-out organizer thingies, but I can never find one that I like, and I only have one and I use it for my perler beads, so maybe I should try to buy less things. I just have little jars of each letter. Okay, I'm gonna pull out all my letters and then talk because this is going to be a lot of rattling. Nice, bro! I don't love wearing beanies because I feel like I don't look good in them because my ears stick out and it makes the beanie stick out, whatever. But my hair looks especially unmanageable today. But I don't know, I think it goes quite well with my outfit. I got lucky. Can't be a scene kid without a Pokemon hat of some sort. Didn't Thanks Pete originate from the AP Music Awards? Because when I think about that, I think about when Metro Station went up on the stage and Trace Cyrus was like, I guess making a dick out of himself or something. And then Mason Musso was just standing there like,
before we say anything, I don't know why All Time Low always has to talk shit on Metro Station. We've been nothing but nice to those guys. And it's so disrespectful when you go on tour with bands and they treat you disrespectful. It's ridiculous. But we're not up here for that reason. I just had to get it off my chest.
I have a screenshot saved of that because I thought it was the funniest thing in the world when it happened. I'm sure I probably made that my Kick profile picture or something when that happened. I feel like the, 2014 APMAs was like the cutoff of emo culture. Like after that, it stopped. Specifically, a lot of bands started releasing worse music around like 2013 is when it really started. But like the culture was still alive and well due to Tumblr fandom kids such as myself. And man, I had like an AP magazine subscription and everything. Like it was real. I had my whole bedroom covered in AP magazine pictures. And I don't know, I feel like I never liked how it looked when I was doing it. Like I wanted to be like all the other emos who had stuff plastered all over their walls, but mine was too like geometric, I feel like. It didn't look authentic enough. It looked very placed, but I don't know, that's just how my brain works. I couldn't like just put things anywhere. I had to square them out. It was like a band member grid. Oh, look at that, a turquoise hair. These get rarer and rarer these days. Do you think I could sell this? I'll put this on eBay when I hit 100K on YouTube. Okay, I lied. I am gonna use stretch magic because I feel like these colors would look weird with this bracelet. So anyway, now that I'm done rustling letters, let's discuss things. What iconic scene outfit would you like to recreate but don't have the specific items to do so? The photo of Jeffree Star vomiting Fruit Loops on a kitchen floor. No, not a lot of iconic images come to mind that weren't like memed on. This is kind of a weird observation, but I always see with like any MySpace pictures, they're either taken in a bathroom or they're taken like outside against someone's house. I'm like, I don't just have like a photo shootable yard. I can't just like do that. I'm always jealous of those people. My photo taking situation is suboptimal.
More like belongs in the trash.
Apparently I'm running low on black beads, which I was not aware of until just now. Wait, I might actually not be out of black beads. I have so many more beads, it's not even funny. I found black sparkle beads, and that might be even better for my project. And yes, I do keep some of my beads in used Gatorade bottles. It's called recycling. What are your thoughts on neopets? To be quite honest, I did not play a lot of neopets as a child. I thought it was too confusing, so I just didn't play it because I didn't get it. I'm pretty sure I had one of those like dragon guys and he was green and he was called Fatso. And that's the only thing I really remember about my Neopets account. So I think I'm going for a red sparkle black pattern, and then I'll put the bat like on the other side of the word so it's like at the end. You know, you get it. Thoughts on hyperpop music? Do you really think I spent like multiple years listening to Blood on the Dance Floor and I don't listen to 100 Gex now? Of course I like hyperpop. I listened to Broken Side back in the day. I've never branched out too far into the genre. Like all that I am really familiar with is 100 Gex and Sophie. What's an alternative music style you wish you liked? What's an alternative music style you wish you liked more? Honestly, I would probably say deathcore. Cause like I can appreciate it. I can appreciate a good deathcore song, but it's just not a genre that I can really listen to recreationally. I don't know, I feel like so many deathcore bands sound exactly the same to me, so I can't do it. Also, I put a little dab of glue on my knot so it doesn't untie. Okay, what is next on the candy agenda? I have these like random word beads that I got at a thrift store. These are funny because the front and the back say completely different words. Wish. Sport. Will. Time. Will it? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna choose a random few of these and put them on a bracelet. It'll be funny if it doesn't make sense, hopefully. Do you like cheese? I didn't choose this question because I want to boast about my veganism, but I rather would like to enthuse about the existence of vegan parmesan, which is my new obsession. Ever since I went vegan, there's been like a few things that I really miss that are pretty much irreplaceable. Zaxby's Wings and Things, Domino's Pizza, and just Domino's. I miss Domino's. And butter pasta caked in parmesan. For the past few years, vegan cheese has been iffy at best. They are getting better at it. But back when I started being a vegan, I mostly just had diet, and that's what I had to work with. I was like, fuck, they're never gonna make a decent parmesan. But it's 2021, and veganism is profitable. They did it. They made a good parmesan, but only the follow your heart one. I bought the Go Veggie grated parmesan, and it was foul. It was disgusting. Like, it tasted almost reminiscent of parmesan, but it wasn't. I used it like once, and it made my entire apartment smell like fake cheese. It was terrible. So I had to throw that out and never buy it again. And I just accepted my fate. All vegan parmesan is gonna be gross. But I follow r/shitty vegan food porn, which is where I get a lot of my shitty vegan meal ideas. And someone posted a picture of the Follow Your Heart Parmesan and was like, this is actually really good. And the comments were like, yeah, it is really good. And I was like, man, I need to put that in my brain. I need to think about that. I was like, well, my grocery stores don't really usually sell Follow Your Heart, so maybe I'll just suffer. They started carrying it. So now I will be obsessively eating fake parmesan on everything until I inevitably get sick of it and can't eat it anymore. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. My life is so interesting. How does one begin to dress seen? Back when I started wanting to be seen, which was in 2011 is when my first round of sceneism started. I went to Hot Topic for back to school shopping, and I got one pair of black skinny jeans and probably a few My Little Pony and Blood on the Dance Floor shirts. And you can thrift that stuff real easy. Like, don't spend $40 on a pair of Hot Topic pants. You can find quite literally the same exact ones at most thrift stores. I'm always seeing lovesick pants at thrift stores. It's just a matter of, is it my size or not? Probably the biggest part of it, if not the hair, then is the accessories. And you can DIY a lot of it, and you can find a lot of it at Dollar Tree and places like that. Get a few bows, make a few singles, you'll be just fine. And that leads me into, should I cut my hair by myself or by my hairdresser? And this really depends on your personal stuff. I've heard pretty much every alternative person say there is not a hairdresser in the world that could get their alternative hair correctly. And that's kind of like a well-known stereotype that exists. But at the same time, if you do cut it yourself for the first time, there is a good chance that you will mess it up. And I would say if you're a young person, go ahead and take that chance. Like, cut your hair by yourself. Nobody is going to care. And if they do, it will be funny to look back on. In the world of DIY hair, everyone has to start somewhere. That's just kind of what happens. If you do try to cut emo/scene hair by yourself, please use a razor. Because, I mean, I'm mostly speaking from personal experience, but when you start out cutting your hair with scissors, you will chop a lot, like too much off. You will chop too much of your hair off, and you will most likely regret it. But with a razor, you can go slow, and it's not as precise, but it's more difficult to mess up. So I don't know, it just kind of depends which chance you want to take. Would you rather potentially yourself mess up your own hair or someone else mess up your hair? But with hairdressers, they're probably not gonna make you look egregiously bad most of the time. Like, most of the time they'll just like not understand what you want, and then you have like a little bit of a side bang and that's it. Honestly, if you do go to a salon, I would recommend going to a cosmetology school where the students need to practice. I have always had such better luck at the schools because I feel like if they're students, they are trying harder, and like you show them a picture and they're like trying harder to do the thing. And since they are like under teacher supervision, it's two people making sure that your hair isn't getting messed up. And also, like, not only all that, and it's good for everyone, but it's cheaper. So find yourself a cosmetology school and go there is what I would recommend. Do that or start cutting it yourself. If you like want to consistently cut your hair yourself your whole life, which is kind of what I did because I hate going to the salon, you're gonna have to grow your skill set at some point. And like, trust me, I've given myself a lot of failed haircuts over the years. I'll still mess up my hair to this day. Okay, I finished my bracelet. On this side, it says like, heart, need. And on the other side, it says love, cool time. I don't know, I think that's a pretty good one. Do you think scene is ever going to come back into style? No. But let me explain. I kind of feel like the population as a whole is just kind of over it. I feel like a lot of scene aspects were very specific to that time period, and you can't really recreate that. Like, of course you can revisit it, but it'll pretty much be that, like, revisiting. There's not a whole lot of ways to build upon it. Like, I feel like a whole lot of it is nostalgic value. And I don't think it'll, like, die out anytime soon, because, I mean, most alternative subcultures don't just, like, go away forever. But I don't think it'll ever come back full force. I think it's kind of been there, done that for a lot of people. And I don't mean that in, like, a bad way either. I just don't think it'll, like, take the world by storm in any sort of sense. I think alternative subculture is gonna continue evolving. Like, we saw that in 2019, 2020 with the e-boys and e-girls. So I think there will always be waves of alternative culture kind of bubbling to the surface a little bit, which I'm completely fine with. I think the scene was very toxic in a lot of ways. So if it's just us in our little niche, then that's fine. I can live with that. How do you feel about gatekeeping in different alternative communities? I think it really depends on the alternative community. With every subculture, there's gonna be, like, some sort of criteria that you have to pass. Like, if you consider yourself emo, it would be weird if you didn't listen to music under the emo category. And I think as long as people continue to meet that criteria, then it really shouldn't matter. Like, how far deep you want to go into the lore of your subculture is up to you. I think for some subcultures, it's easier to assimilate into. Of course, scene and emo has lore behind it, but it's also very easy to understand. Like, there's a handful of bands you need to know, handful of styles that you need to be familiar with, handful of people you need to know, and that's, I mean. But if we're talking about something like punk that has an incredibly rich history behind it, then I could see why gatekeeping is a perfectly normal thing to want to do. I don't know, I think the main thing is just to keep an open mind to people, and certain people will fit in just fine, and others will probably annoy you a little bit more, but that's what blocking people is for. How come you took out your snake bites? I want new jewelry is pretty much the best answer that I can give. I've wanted silver jewelry and all I have is black, and I just haven't gotten around to getting anything new, so they're out for now. I also had a bit of an identity crisis when I cut my hair. What's the best concert you've been to? I kind of want to say when I saw Bring Me the Horizon and 68 open for them. And if you don't know, 68 is, I think they're a duo, if I remember correctly. And the vocalist is the same guy from The Chariot and Norma Jean, and 68 is just another project of his. Or like a newer project, I guess. Usually opening bands are just kind of fine. And like, I hadn't heard of 68, and I also wasn't aware of The Chariot or Norma Jean. And I was like, how are these guys an opening band and their stage presence is so well? It's because he's done it before. He's been doing this for years. Man, they put on a really good show. Oh, and this is the latest single I made. Just going for patterns, getting some filler. Like, 68 was doing things that I'd never really seen someone do at a show before. I don't know, they just had a good stage presence. It was very unique. Usually when I go to a metalcore show like Bring Me the Horizon, it's kind of the same thing you kind of expect. Bring Me the Horizon put on a really good show too. They, like, of course they do. I think this was in, I want to say 2015. So yeah, I don't know, I guess that might just be my most memorable concert experience. What's my least favorite thing about being in the scene? Probably the prevalence of Blood on the Dance Floor listeners. That's my main beef. I know I talked about this a lot, but it really bugs me when I'll see someone using Blood on the Dance Floor audio or maybe like wearing merchandise, and then they'll be like, I do not support Davi. Sure, most people don't support him. Does that not make you feel gross that you're giving attention to their music? That's a good segue into guilty pleasure artists. I do not want to say Blood on the Dance Floor. I don't want to say it, but man, I miss the days of ignorant bliss, of me being able to listen to Blood on the Dance Floor and not think about how disgusting its lyrical content is. I don't know what it is. They must have been putting fucking crack in their music or something. There is not a day that goes by where I don't have a Blood on the Dance Floor song stuck in my head at any given moment. I don't listen to them though. I will crave them, but then if I like go out of my way to listen to them, I'm like, this is uncomfortable. Like, I can't do this anymore. I just cannot listen to Davi sing about all of this sexual content knowing that it's probably not about adults. It's probably not. I would say a good guilty pleasure artist example would be Jeffree Star. I do still listen to Beauty Killer. Like, yeah, Jeffree's not a fantastic person, but he did make a fantastic album. I don't know how, but he did. I want to get into emo/scene. What music do you recommend? In terms of emo, I would say, like, the same way we got into it, Asking Alexandria, of Mice and Men, Bring Me the Horizon, all of them. Black Veil Brides if you really want to live out the true authenticity of discovering emo as an 11-year-old. And scene music is kind of hard to recommend because it's either made by a not great person or not great people. I mean, same with like any alternative musician, honestly. They're all kind of risky in one way or another. But like when I think of scene music, I think Blood on the Dance Floor, and like obviously that's off the table. I really like Breathe Carolina. I think Breathe Carolina is a really solid first choice. Obviously you got stuff like Broken Side and Dot Dot Curve if you're into like crunkcore, or you could go the more like poppy route of scene with Never Shout Never. Who else? Like Nicosaur and all them. Or you can go the route of white men rapping and go for Hollywood Undead or JJ Demon. I really liked listening to JJ Demon back in the day. I hope he doesn't have allegations against him. You never know. You never know. Davi was out here creeping on teenage girls like out in the open. So I don't know what all these other men were doing behind closed doors, but I hope JJ Demon was not one of those men. Listen to his song Friday Night Alone. That was my favorite by him. Is there a specific brand of makeup you prefer to use? I opt for Wet n Wild in terms of eye stuff. I really like their Mega Liner, the liquid liner, and the Breakup Proof I think is by them too. The Breakup Proof pencil liner is really good. I just kind of go for anything drugstore cheap. Cause like back in like 2016-17 when beauty consumption was like at an all-time high, I was like, okay, I can only buy high quality expensive makeup because that's the only makeup that is high quality. And you know, sometimes that was the case because a lot of drugstore quality was not that good until more recently, but most cheap brands have been stepping up their game. So the whole thing about drugstore makeup not being good is kind of obsolete. It's kind of pointless to pay more money for essentially the same thing. So I don't know, if I need a product, I kind of just go to the grocery store and I'm like, which one will I maybe choose today? Do you miss your long scene hair? Yes, but mostly no. I miss that it looked good and it was kind of not effortless because, I mean, obviously I would straighten it a lot. With short hair, you can't really just waltz out of bed and be like, okay, I look good. Short hair is an issue. But it also feels so much less gross and I can dye it more and it isn't gonna fall off because it's like shorter hair. My hair got kind of gross after I bleached it to pink. And I mean, like I was expecting it to. It's not like I was surprised when I messed it up. It was fine when I was managing it, but I was kind of just like, I don't really want to manage it anymore. So I just chopped it all off. Here's a blue single. More filler for today. It's taking me like 20 minutes to finish one single because I get so distracted. Like it's so hard to multitask. I think I'm gonna do one more because otherwise I will be mad about having more than 2 hours of footage to go through. Another thing that I like about not having like specifically scene hair is I can kind of do other styles other than scene. Because I mean, when you have distinctly scene hair, that's like how you have to dress most of the time if you want your look to make sense, I guess. But what I got going on now is pretty like I can dress however I want and it makes sense. I can't figure out my personal style. Any tips? Honestly, the only real way to find your personal style is to buy clothes that make you happy and then try to piece them together. Because like obviously like you can see a style and you can try it, but to find your own like personal vibes that you want to give off, you just have to buy the things that you see and you're like, man, that makes me happy. I'm gonna own it. With fashion, you really don't need to go by the books unless you want to. You can just put things on that you like and then make it work for you. My final question that I have written down is teeth for toes or toes for teeth? Obviously teeth for toes. Like, that's just the correct answer. How are you going to chew food with toes in your mouth? I'm not going to make a foot fetish joke. I'm not going to do it. Like, if you have teeth instead of toes, I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to balance or walk around very well, but you could live your life. Like, I mean, people live without feet all the time. If you had toes in your mouth for the rest of your life, you'd have to live off of, like, applesauce and oatmeal. I mean, I'm sure you can make it work, but I think it would be a lot more unpleasant. You also can't hide that. If you smile and there's toes coming out of your face, people are gonna see that. I mean, I can live with socks on for the rest of my life. If you are someone who would rather have toes for teeth, please let me know and explain why, because I would like to know. And don't try to play devil's advocate or anything. Like, if you genuinely believe this, I would like to know why, because there obviously must be someone out there who thinks that, if this is a question. This is my final single that I've been making. I feel like this might be a pride flag, but I don't recognize what it could be for. If this is your pride flag, let me know. I was thinking about Smarties when I made this. Alright, let's do a bit of a recap on the singles I made. We have Love Cool Time. I don't think you can even read that. There is too much glare. We have Little Blue Pattern. We have a little Princess Pattern. Mysterious Smarties Pride. And finally, Thanks Pete. I would say this is a pretty successful session. I appreciate being given things to talk about. I was really hoping to make more fun candy, but I just could not while talking. I have all these little toys and stuff that I want to put on candy necklaces. If I'm speaking, I cannot be making something cool at the same time. I do not have that much brain power to spare. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks. Bye.